how's your life treating you?
Yeah, just hot, really.
Oh yeah.
Weather, yeah.
It's the second hottest day of the year. The next hottest day is tomorrow.
Oh.
Or today, if you're listening to it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, timey-wimey. So tomorrow for us, but today for you.
Yes.
But yesterday for anyone listening after Saturday.
Well, as long as it's Sunday.
Or Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had sports day today, so extra heat.
Ah, right. Blimey.
Yeah.
Did you have to, I don't know, like, fire the gun? And of course, this is a school in England, so I'm, of course, talking about the starting pistol.
Oh, yeah. Because all schools still... Actually, I think it's illegal to have starting pistols nowadays.
Ah, okay.
I think it was like around 2010 or something they made that illegal.
So you just have to use the gong instead.
Yes.
just wheel it out.
The old Blaze primary gong.
We all remember.
Oh, well, anything new with you?
Yeah. So I've listened to all of Doctor Who Unbound now.
All of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to say they're really good.
Yeah.
I very much liked. Yeah. So we had
any outstanders that you really liked?
I'll tell you what I like. What I really like. So tell me what you like. What you really like. You're meant to say, and then I'll say I'll tell you what I like. What I really like, and then you say so tell you what you really like.
I was going to, but that tickled my funny bone too much. That was a nice little nostalgia hit for me. I giggled too much that I couldn't continue.
I like that as an excuse when someone tells a shit joke, like, oh yeah, no, sorry, I did find it really funny. It was just so funny I couldn't do anything. Oh, man.
I was giggling behind the scenes.
Okay.
You can't see my giggle, but I was giggled.
Oh, giggle me this. So, what I'll do, I'll just give you, like, I've got the Wikipedia page up, and there's just like a one-sentence synopsis of each of them. So because it's like, what if? Yeah.
How did?
I'll just tease you. So, we're talking about, I should mention, it's Big Finish, Doctor Who Unbound, and they're all what-if stories. It's none of them like the Doctors that we know and love. It's new actors playing them and different scenarios.
Like, alternative dimension Doctors.
Different timelines, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So the first...
Like the Peter Cushing Doctor, basically.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So the first one is Old Mortality, and it's what if the Doctor and Susan had never left Gallifrey?
Oh, I remember you mentioning this one.
Yeah. So the story opens and the Doctor is just this crotchety old man on Gallifrey writing books about adventures. And it's...
I didn't know, because like considering how political Gallifrey was, I didn't know if it would be like some sort of political drama or something.
There are politics.
Okay, big surprise.
Yeah, it's Gallifrey in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So that was okay. That was all right.
Jumped up bureaucrats.
Yeah. I will say that they are all good. So like the ones that I'm not saying that was brilliant. I still liked them. I still liked them all. But yeah, anyway. So the second one is...
Do you have a favourite so far? Or, not so far because you've got through them, yeah.
We'll get there when we get there. The second one's Sympathy for the Devil, which is what if the Doctor had not been UNIT's scientific advisor? So what it is instead of when he gets regenerated and exiled by the Time Lords. Obviously, in the show we watched, he shows up in the 70s or the 80s, depending on who you ask. And
let's not start that.
And so in this story, he shows up in 1997 in Hong Kong, which is when the British were handing it over to the Chinese. And so he basically all the stuff that UNIT got up to, that the Doctor helped them with, he wasn't there to help them. So it's almost like a kind of turn left style scenario, but nowhere near as bad. Everything's still going on as normal.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah.
Just what if the Doctor hadn't been there to help?
Yeah. So that was a good one. Then my favourite out of the first three is the third one, which was called Full Fathom 5.
Oh, very sci-fi name.
It's a quote from Shakespeare's The Tempest.
Okay.
Which I want to say I only know that because they mention it in the story.
Okay.
It's what if the Doctor believed that the ends justified the means? So that was good because it was like a different type of Doctor. You know, effectively, like if someone knows something that is dangerous and you can't risk them telling anyone else, can you let them live? It was that kind of, and
Not necessarily an evil Doctor, one with just more grayed out morals.
Yeah, that's exactly it, yeah.
Our Doctor, yeah. He's not necessarily a master.
No.
He's just a bit more easy to break the rules.
Yeah. Because from his point of view, he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, it's like killing one person to save 1,000, that kind of thing.
That's what Davros said. He thought he was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, sorry.
That power would set me above the gods. Classic Davros stuff.
Good old Davros.
Don't we love him? The chef de Dalek, Ilsabel Davros, as Bill Bailey might say. So the fourth one was my favourite out of the first four.
Okay, so it's getting better and better so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called He Jests at Scars.
Oh.
And
is it a Lion King?
It's similar to the Lion King. It's what if the Valeyard had won at the end of the Trial of a Time Lord.
Ooh.
And that I really liked that one. It was really good. It had I think it's probably my second favourite of them
overall.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was the person playing the Doctor, stroke the Valeyard, was the same actor who played the Valeyard in Trial of a Time Lord.
Oh, so it's as if when the Valeyard won, he literally took over as the Doctor.
Yeah, and we had Mel as Mel as well.
Bonnie Langford.
That's it.
The voice box on legs. The screen.
Actually, I don't know if it was actually Bonnie Langford. Oh, it was Bonnie Langford. Looking in the credits.
It was.
It was literally her, yeah. So it was almost just like it was just a sequel to Trial of the Time Lord, but if the Valeyard had won.
Ooh. Oh, I'd be interested in that one eventually. When I do eventually get back to Trial of the Time Lord, it'd be nice to listen to that after.
Yeah, and that one was great because it was very timey-wimey. There was lots of different, you know, the whole series is obviously about sort of alternate timelines, but that really kind of had it front and center of the plot. It was really good.
Yeah,
I very much enjoyed it. Yeah,
very, very much.
Yes. The next one was Deadline, written by our old friend Robert Sherman.
Oh, is he? Am I thinking right? Dalek fame?
Of Dalek fame, yes.
Of Dalek fame and Holy Terror.
Yep. Jubilee, The Chimes of Midnight, Scherzo.
I haven't gotten to them yet. But...
Chimes of Midnight's great. I love that one. So that one actually wasn't. Deadline wasn't actually a Doctor Who story as such. It was because it was what if Doctor Who was never made as a TV series. It was just never commissioned, like the BBC dropped it before it was made.
Okay.
And the main character he's a fictional character, he's not meant to be the real one, but he's like the main script writer. And he's stuck in like a retirement home having sort of like daydream stroke fantasy things about the Doctor Who script that, you know, he was writing back in the day and stuff like that. And he's kind of going a bit mad as well. So it's kind of crosses. It's really good. It's like it's basically just following him going mad, but it keeps on like jumping back into like the early days of Doctor Who.
It had happened, yeah. So like an alternative take on
Adventure in Space and Time.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
yeah. What happened in it? What was I going to say? Bugger, it's gone. Oh, that's right. It was very sort of tongue-in-cheek. It was quite funny.
Meta, yeah.
Yeah.
I could kind of guess that if it's to do with the show rather than the character.
Yeah. Yeah. So, for example, the guy who wrote the pilot episode that was never picked up for Doctor Who then went on to write a few episodes of a police series about a female detective called Juliet Bravo, and at one point a guy from the unofficial Juliet Bravo fan magazine comes to interview him, and it's like he's obviously meant to be like a Doctor Who fan. It was quite funny. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
And directed by Nicholas Briggs. The next one was...
Most Big Finishes are, I think.
Yeah.
He's very big in the Big Finish. He's a big finisher over a Big Finish.
Yeah. Oh, and that one
Next
starred
one.
Derek Jacobi as well, Deadline.
Oh,
As the writerman.
Oh, imparé.
Yeah. So the next one was Exile, which is, what if the Doctor had escaped the justice of the Time Lords at the end of the War Games? So the second Doctor escapes, basically, and never goes on trial.
Oh, okay.
And so
is it like an alternative second Doctor sort of thing?
No, because he committed suicide in order to forcefully regenerate so that the Time Lords wouldn't find him. And or should I say, she is working at a Sainsbury's.
Okay, yeah. So this is the first official female Doctor.
Yeah.
Better than Jodie Whittaker.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Because she's really.
I'll take your word for it. Anyone could be.
Yeah. She's really like melancholy because obviously she's in exile. She's lost everything, and she just likes getting drunk with her work colleagues. It's great.
Oh.
So that was a nice one.
Yeah.
So then the seventh one, A Storm of Angels, was a sequel to the first one.
Oh, okay. Probably why I didn't understand it much when I listened to it as a kid.
Yeah.
This is one I've actually got on proper disc of D of the seed.
Ah, okay. D of the seed. D of C of V Church.
Yeah. All I know is that it had Susan in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it might be a bit of a spoiler, but he does leave Gallifrey at the end of Old Mortality.
Okay.
So I've just said it anyway, even though it was a spoiler. And
well, you did say that there'd be a spoiler just before. You didn't really give him a chance, but you said it. You said it.
And basically, he has a bit more of a laissez-faire attitude when it comes to changing history, and it's about the consequences of that. So he's in a kind of parallel Earth where they've got spaceships earlier than they should have and that kind of stuff.
He accidentally fucks shit up, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a lot of references to early Doctor Who as well, like the first series, because it's like they talk that how they went and visited the Aztecs, and the Doctor got mistaken for their reincarnated goddess because he came out of the tomb or some and stuff like that, which is obviously what happened to Barbara.
Baba, what happened to Babs?
Barbara.
Barbara.
And then the final one, and my favourite one, and it's my favourite because it's got the Daleks in it, and our old friend Davros.
Oh, Davros.
The Doctor wants Davros. It's called Masters of War, and it's a sequel to the second one, which was when the Doctor hadn't been Unit's scientific advisor. And it's basically he's taken the Brigadier with him on an adventure and end up on Skaro.
Oh, actual Brigadier Nicholas Briggs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear. I've got a lot of love for the Brig.
Yeah. And so that I really liked this one because it was there was a lot of sort of. The storyline had a lot of twists and turns in it. Like they had, obviously it was the Daleks versus the Thals, but then there was the Daleks were at war with there was like a civil war with the Daleks, and then it turns out there was this other faction that was pulling the strings of one of them, and I liked it. There was a lot going on.
It was very politically Dalek. Which is what you like. Yeah. Oh no, fair dues. Well, I do have a little bit of a Big Finish update. I've got more.
Okay.
I've basically got all the Sixth Doctor and Evelyn Smythe ones up to Jubilee.
Okay.
In order to sort of fill in them.
Yeah. And
I've got the first 4 of the Fifth Doctor, Perry, and I can't pronounce her name. It's like Ariam.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
She's like an Egyptian princess that I don't know much about her yet. I haven't started them yet.
Okay.
But yeah.
Cool.
They're the ones I've got. Oh, and I have got the other 2 to go with Master and Zagreus. Remember I said they were released as like a villains trilogy, quadrilogy thing.
Yeah.
One of those is a Davros story as well. Davros.
Zagreus might be a bit confusing without listening to the whole Eighth Doctor Charlie Pollock stories that come before it first. It was definitely part of that series.
Yeah. I had Zagreus on discs anyway, so I have heard it already. Okay. And I'd heard odd ones in between. I haven't heard the whole of the Eighth Doctor's run. I know I definitely heard Storm Warning.
Yeah.
I think I've heard one or two more in between. Then Zagreus, then Creed of Croman.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of my extent of the Eighth Doctor so far. Well, not so far. Back then. I haven't really started in properly yet.
Right.
Yeah. I've been sort of more trying to get, like, listen to new companions that we don't really get in the TV show, but with old Doctors.
Yeah.
So Evelyn, this girl. Yeah, but I've spent about 40-50 quids more on those. So
yeah, man.
I couldn't get the bundles though, because in both of the bundles there was a couple of ones that we both already had between us.
Okay.
So it's like, right, I'm gonna have to go through, and that's what made me think, okay, rather than just getting all of the ones I don't have in the bundle, I'll just pick a couple that interest me. So I skipped some of the 6th and Perry because I knew I'd have Perry with the 5th Doctor and
Yeah.
That's her name.
Yeah. I think that is how the Egyptians said it.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah. So I'll be listening to the 8th Doctor and Mary Shelley ones next.
Yeah, they're the ones you'll have to update us on next time.
Yeah.
The only one I've listened to so far of my ones I've got, because I only got paid yesterday, so I could only get them last night.
Yeah.
It was Evelyn's first one.
Oh yeah.
That was quite good. It was like a whole good Queen Bess type story.
Yeah, she's a history professor or something, isn't she?
Yeah.
So yeah, it takes her back in time.
Well, skipping ahead a bit, you know how in Jubilee she mentions that she had been in the Tower of London before?
Oh yeah.
That was in the first one. Okay. So yeah, it's quite good because she's being erased from history because time isn't going how it should be back then.
Okay.
So they have to go back and fix something with that whole situation. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it.
Okay, cool.
Between us, we will complete this collection. I can see it now.
I'll probably listen to all the big finishes before I finish watching through TV Doctor Who. Speaking of TV Doctor Who, I watched The Romans last weekend.
Oh, okay.
It was all right. It was all right. I think it was better than the Reign of Terror, but not as good as the Aztecs. If we're going by historicals.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I had to think for a moment then because
that's a big cry.
Aztecs technically came before Reign of Terror. So
yeah.
I was trying to think of, wait, which one was Reign? Okay, that's the French one. Aztecs, obviously, Aztecs.
Yeah, which one? I think it was the one with the Aztecs.
The Aztecs, that was the one with the men and the clubs and the fire, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In the caves.
The Cave of Skulls.
Men in the cave. Yeah.
We'll take them to the Cave of Skulls. Do you know, I still can't get over how good that Caveman 4-parter was. It's genuinely a shock that it's literally just about cavemen trying to make fire. I think because I had very low hopes for it when I went into it. Yeah.
It was actually a surprise at how good it was. So I enjoyed it more because I wasn't expecting much.
Yeah, I think people would like to kind of take the mick out of it because it's this huge sci-fi show, and the first thing they do is go and sit in a cave with some cavemen. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, I can see. But back then it was more historical sci-fi
exactly.
show.
Yeah.
So
educational.
Even though would cavemen technically be education? I mean, like how accurate could they get about the cavemen.
Yeah, not very. I mean, I don't think you had people living in caves really either.
No.
Was there an educational bit about the cavemen? I think there was a bit where
But they taught kids how to make fire.
That's true. That was educational. I'm sure there was a bit actually where someone is injured and they collapse and they've got to like treat their wound or something or look after them. I'm sure there's something like that. So that was like the Boy Scout educational episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man. But yeah, Romans was
Romans.
The Romans was it was decent. It was quite it was written like a comedy in a lot of places.
Oh,
it was quite different. So like, there's a bit someone's trying to poison the Roman emperor and they stop him from drinking the drink and everything's great because he doesn't get poisoned. So then the doctor and Vicky leave and Nero, the emperor, calls over one of his servants and says, "Drink this." And the guy drinks it and just goes and collapses and Nero just goes, "Oh, it was poison." It was that kind of thing all throughout it.
Oh, okay. Like, me and Ray aren't going to get that far this time round.
No.
But one day.
One day.
One day.
I was going to say, if you ever need anything from the Wall of Bull, you know where to find it, but I think you've got most of them, haven't you?
I've got them up to Dark Invasion.
Right.
And then I haven't got them after that. So I will eventually get them when we return. The plan is these reactions will help me get my collection up eventually. But we will be moving on to another Doctor soon. So.
Yeah. No, see, I just thought that like in your room there would be a thing where you like open a cupboard door and a load of Doctor Who VHSs fall out, and then like you look under the bed and there's Doctor Who VHSs in there, and you pull a Star Trek DVD off the shelf and there's a Doctor Who VHS behind it.
I know. I have got one box set of First Doctor VHSs.
Yep.
It was a random three though, because it was Sensorites, the Time Meddler, or the Meddling Monk.
Yeah.
And then Gunfighters.
I think I'm pretty certain they have that box set in DVD form as well. Oh no, Sensorites was a standalone thing, because they do have random ones. They're too far away for me to see them, but they had the beginning, which is obviously the first three.
Yeah.
But then they had. One of them came with this random Fifth Doctor story, one of the First Doctor ones, and they combined them by saying that they were both Earth-based stories, and that's why they were in a box set together. But it seems like it was just because one of them was popular and one wasn't.
I think I remember mentioning this when I had a glance over your collection once.
The Awakening, that was it.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
Let me go and have a look. See... Awakening. Doctor Who. Yeah, the Gunfighters and the Awakening were in a box set.
Okay.
That's why when you said Gunfighters, I recognised it.
Okay. Yeah, no, this was like a random I've actually found an image of the VHS box set.
Oh, une image. Welcome to the Imaginarium.
L'image.
Oh.
So it was like Sensorites, the Meddling Monk, and the Gunfighters. And they're like all... One's from like the first season, one's from like the third season, and then one's from like his last season. So that was very confusing as a child.
Yeah.
One moment he's travelling with his granddaughter and teachers. The next he's with Vicky and that bloke from Blue Peter back in the 60s.
Peter Pervert.
Yeah, that's him, Peter Pervert.
Oh man. So yeah, there you go. That's the Doctor Who update. It'll be the Web Planet this weekend if all goes according to plan. It all goes according to plan. Web Planet. All goes according to Web Planet. Anyway.
Well, keeping on the First Doctor, but kind of technically going back to Big Finish.
Okay.
One that I saw that interested me was that it was like New Adventures of the First Doctor, but with him played by Adventure in Space and Time.
Oh, yeah. Can't remember his name.
We actually... No, I can't. But we get to see the first incarnation of the mask.
Ah.
Finish. I'll see if I can find a picture.
A pak choi?
A pak choi of it, yeah.
Oh.
Can you hear people cutting their grass in the background?
No. I'm just on the Big Finish website. They got Survivors. Is that Terry Nation Survivors? It is, based on the classic TV series.
Oh, okay.
How interesting. Survivors was one of those things that had a really good premise, but it was just, it dragged on too much. From what I've read of the original, that's what happened. And then they remade it a few years ago, and the same thing happened with that as well. So if they've like managed to condense it and make it a bit more listable, like they've done with Doctor Who, that would be really good. It's basically like most of humanity gets wiped out by a weird plague thing.
So it's the Survivors.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've heard of it. Blimey, there's more First Doctor audiobooks than I'd have expected, considering they died before it was even... there's the one. Copy image. Past image.
Oh, future image.
Boom.
Ah.
There you go.
David Bradley.
That's him. I've heard of Jamie Glover, and the rest.
Yeah.
Don't know what I actually. Yeah, both look it up. Oh wait, no, Jamie Glover's the guy who played Ian. So.
Oh. Wait.
Who's the guy playing the Master then? I recognise the guy playing the Master.
Cast. Jamie Glover, Ian Chesterton, James Dreyfus.
James Dreyfus.
Oops, copy link address. Search Google.
Oh, he was in the Thin Blue Line.
Oh my god, it's him from Gimme Gimme Gimme! He looks so different. God, I never recognised him.
He was in he took over from Aurora Hannon from My Hero.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, no, he was I recognise him as just the really camp flatmate of Kathy Burke from Gimme Gimme Gimme.
I haven't watched too many Gimme Gimme Gimme, so I can't remember much. My nan's watched it in the background when I was younger. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we both recognise him from something.
Yeah. God, that was a shock. Honestly, I could have looked at that picture of him on that Doctor Who thing all week and not recognised him.
Oh, he was in an episode of Sarah Jane Adventures.
Yeah.
Harrison. Who's Harrison? Harrison. It's Sja. Oh, he was like, can you remember the Sarah Jane episode where like this guy had hologram technology or something? And it turns out he was like keeping a bunch of aliens as slaves.
No, I don't remember that one.
Oh, okay.
That's the end of that.
Well, that's the end of that chapter. So,
sorry, I was looking at pictures of Harrison from the Sarah Jane Adventures to see if it jogged my memory. It did not.
No. I think it was like the Hit and Miss Series 5.
I missed it.
Oh, didn't you watch the last series?
I can't remember.
Okay. It's where Luke left and she ended up getting a daughter instead.
No, I didn't see that.
No, okay.
Okay, I did miss it.
It was literally hit or miss.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, that's probably enough of that for today. It was the Doctor Who Hour here on the Invisible Tower.
Is it a lot of big finish in there,
but we won't. Will we have a big finish now to the podcast? No.
Have we ever had a big finish? I mean, we've got a big finish, but have we had a big finish?
I don't think we have. What would a big finish be? Like, be like a big orchestral fanfare thing, and some applause.
Look through your like free soundtrack and have that as we go out.
I'm already mentally going through all the Kevin MacLeod tracks I've downloaded.
Just get like applause over it, or just like one man clapping. Well, yeah, I'll let you work that out.
Yeah. Hooray! So, on that bombshell, it is time to end.
Time to end.
As always, tell someone about the podcast, like and subscribe, and all that other stuff that we like to say.
Become like us. You will like and subscribe.
And remember to be loyal to Davros, and check out Big Finish.
Davros. And the melons.
Anyway, their paths are real met, Ozzy, as we will find out anon.
Anon.
I've never heard anyone
on Inaudible.